Hey, what's up, YouTube?
Hi.
How y'all doing this evening? I'm gonna give y'all a second to come on into the room
Yes.
as we get situated over here. Sorry for the delay, y'all. We had to get situated over here. We was having some issues with some technical difficulties.
They probably don't even know the time. You don't need to say
nothing. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I know Facebook knows the time. Let's go ahead and get started over there.
All right. Let's see. Hold on. What are we talking about? Well, we're not going to talk about what we're talking about tonight because we're going to just start with some music. Hold on. I'm trying to see where we at. All right. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Facebook? Come on into the house. Welcome to another Thursday night live stream.
Yes.
We hope everybody's doing good out there. We're doing good.
Hey. Hey. What's happening, y'all?
As y'all come in this evening, let us know where y'all coming from. Let us know where y'all tuning in from. Again, thank y'all for joining us this evening. We're grooving a little bit to the instrumental of Kendrick Lamar's Be Humble. And we hoping that y'all gonna be humble during this holiday season. We got a nice little topic in store for y'all tonight. Again, welcome on in. Please share this video. Get ready to get some insight, some education, some information, some fun, some energy, some all of that.
This is how my kids do. Let me sit in here. They'll probably.
How your kids do?
Our kids.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, fine, whatever.
We gotta put them in check, y'all. We gotta keep them in their place.
What?
Yeah. Women be like, my kids.
I mean, you can. We can. I don't have to always say.
That's true.
That's sensitive.
Yeah. But we as men, we be sensitive sometimes because we always exclude it. Yeah. You know, I mean, we always exclude it, and we want to make sure that we being represented. So it's not just your kids, it's not just my kids, it's our kids.
Where are you watching from? All right, Charleston, South Carolina, in the house. Hey, Springdale, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's up, y'all?
Where y'all coming from? Springdale. Where is that at, Kristen? All right. Love you too, Rhonda.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Rhonda?
You too. All right, Kenny. We see you. All right. I like how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. All right, guys.
Joanna said, this is my jam right here.
It is. It's a funky beat.
So like we said, y'all, go ahead and please share. We're about to get started on this topic tonight. And it's really going to be good, y'all. It's going to be a good topic from the perspective that we're going to give y'all some tips to help you deal with your family members, your in-laws, your exes during this holiday season. But not just that. We're going to give you some information to support you because some people are going through a difficult time right now. So again, tune in, share it to some folks that you think might need to get this information. Again, it's all about education, enlightenment, edification, as we try to go to the next level.
All right. So guys, we are going to get started. And if you noticed, okay, first of all, I got to shout out where y'all coming from. Arkansas and Taneytown, Maryland in the house. All right. St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, Christy by FedEx Field. Or I said Kristen, not Christy. Kristen. Okay, I see. And Rhonda is here and Kanetta is here from Durham, North Carolina. Chi-Town. All right. So we appreciate everybody who is tuned in. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching from my page, we're transitioning over to the Black Love and Marriage page. So just know that in the future, the very near future, you'll have to go to blackloveandmarriage.com on Facebook to watch us do the live stream. So again, I want you to share this. I want you to tag people you think might really benefit, particularly around certain issues, because, they may not know. They're like, what is this all about?
And thank y'all for sharing.
If there's a particular issue, yes, thank you, that really stands out for you, and you know somebody who's dealing with that, or you know how they be. Mm-hmm. You know how they be. There's our cousin right there. Hi, Missy. If that's happening, then you need to make sure that you share it so that we can all grow and go to the next level together. Yeah. So look, y'all, this was the title. What is the title? What are we talking about tonight?
What we're talking about is in-laws.
Exes.
Friends.
And
family foolishness.
Yeah. Holiday time can bring out the best and the worst in all of us. Mm-hmm. Y'all think we're talking about somebody else, and somebody else, is somewhere else thinking about you, thinking you just foolish. You the one. You the one. You thinking it's somebody else that you got to get your mind right for in the holidays, or maybe it's your partner, maybe it's them because they just act special, or they change it to a different person when the parents come around. They're like, wait a minute, I thought you was the man of the house. You turn into a little boy when your mommy come around. What's going on? Right? You know, we don't have to. I just want you to be clear. That's not an issue over here. Right. Not at all. But I want to say this. Whatever it is, it's always good to get a little more information and education around how we can deal with it, because these kinds of things are normal on some level and natural for being human and being in a relationship, particularly with family. Somebody said, can you touch on grown children? Drop a comment and give me more details. We will touch on it for you, but tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that when you say, can you touch on grown children? Exactly what is the question? So let's get started.
No, before we get started, I think it's always important, number one, to say who we are, because some of y'all are tuning in for the first time. My name is Exes Ma'ad, and this right here is my incredible wife, Iana Ma'ad. We're both licensed therapists. Yes. And while we are licensed therapists, again, we get the most gratification from living the life that we live. We've been married now for 15 years, together for going on 23. We got 5 beautiful children, y'all. So not only do we work with couples in terms of helping them to elevate their relationship, but we constantly working on ours, because I've been with this woman right here for, it feels like, for more than half my life. You've been my baby for more than half my life. So we do it every single day, y'all. So again, it's not just what we've learned academically, but it's what we've lived every single day. So tune in. And while I say all of that, I also want to put out there too, as a disclaimer, while we are licensed therapists, this right here ain't therapy.
Look, I love how somebody last time was like, okay, but this my therapy, laugh out loud. Oh, yeah. It's mine anyway. So I just want to shout out our folks on YouTube, Joanna, Marco, Tamika, Anthony. Just want to shout out a few of you who are watching. So yes, if you have questions as we're going along, drop them down in the comments and we will pay attention. Yeah. But let me just ask everybody first, when you hear in-laws, when you think about, we don't have to talk about our own in-laws. You ain't got to talk about your in-laws, right? Just talk in general. Okay, talk in general. Right? When you think about in-laws and the issues that people have with in-laws, can you drop a comment? Let us know what comes up for you. You know, do warm, fuzzy feelings come up? And for some of you, that may be the case because you actually have a really good connection, and you know, you call them mom or dad, and you know, it's just fabulous, right? They're the mother you never had or whatever. And for others, not so much. But what are some of the challenges that you're experiencing when you think about your in-laws? There are so many. You can just click right here because I want to stay on this page.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Don't get out of this page.
I'm trying to go to my
Okay, y'all. So there's so many challenges, right, that we can have with our in-laws. So I see some comments being dropped. Controlling. Hey, what's up, Robin Williams? I see you. Controlling. Yes, Lord. We're gonna talk about that this evening. Controlling in-laws. You know, that thing. Hey, Shaifa, I see you, sis. That thing can be a real issue for a lot of people because people, you know, the real deal is this, whether you realize it or not, if you got young children, you're going to get to a certain place where they become adults and they start to live their own lives, right? And you realize like, oh, they boo before they come to me.
Yeah. Right.
They establish some things with that person before they, you know, even think about me. And of course, you're probably thinking, that's fine with me, that's fine, you know. but you know, it's rough for people. It's rough. Yvette, I see you. She says when she thinks about in-laws, she thinks about mama's boys and the moms who don't want to let the sons go. Not my story though. I'm just putting it out there. Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all, I'm just gonna say this real quick. When I was in high school and I was dating someone before Ayiza and I met in high school, that was just brother I was dating, you know, he was like my first love. I was all, you know, this is my boo. And his mother this is in high school. Can I repeat that? All right. She used to get mad. She would pick up the phone and listen to our conversations. He might do something like get me a rose from the 7-Eleven. Who remember them roses in the 7-Eleven back in the day? Right. Pick that joint up on the way.
I used to get you a few of them.
You did, babe. Everybody did. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. And she would see it and get mad. She'd come in the room and look at it and then just like stomp out the room. I mean, issues. So I don't even understand or know how he's living now. But at the end of the day, parents and in-laws can be very, very difficult. Somebody, Robert, I see your comment. I'm going to pay attention to that in a moment. But look, y'all. One of the first things, again, get your pen and paper out. If you don't have it already, there's going to be some things that resonate with you. You need to write it down because you will forget it. Okay, you'll forget it and you will not pay attention to making sure that you really think about how it is that you can hone in on whatever it is that is resonating with you. Competition, competitive, that's true. There's competition often going on with in-laws. But the first thing that all people who have in-laws or some in-laws to be or whatever, you want to have some in-laws at some point, right? Because you're not yet in your relationship. The first thing that you must do is number one, manage your expectations. I'm going to say that again. It's a simple 3 words. Manage your expectations. See, everybody has a certain, and y'all know this because you know your partner is different than you, right? They see things differently than you oftentimes, right? They're not in the same flow as you because they were raised differently, because they think about things differently. And so it's the same thing for our in-laws. We expect them to sometimes show up like our parents. We would never say that. We don't think that that's what we are really looking for. But when they do something that is outside of how we're used to things being done, and if they should suggest when, you know, you didn't ask for their suggestion in the first place, that becomes a problem because we are expecting them to kind of get information. A, you're not my mom. Yeah. You're not my dad. Either you're going to be like them and kind of do how we do things on my side of the family, or you're going to just be a guest, right? And kind of stay over there. And you can kind of come into this space and see how we do things. But what does an in-law do when, you know, that's her husband, Lord. That's her son, right?
Sometimes they be acting like that.
Right? Or and you know what? You see how I'm saying a lot of this for like men, like us women, we have issues with the mama. Yeah. You know, because and the sons. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I mean, that's an issue.
However, what? You know, we as husbands, sometimes we experience the mamas being way more intrusive than they need to be. And it's based off of the woman not necessarily standing on her own 2 feet and needing the mama to be present to validate her as a woman.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I didn't really follow what you said.
Oh, you didn't? No. That just escapes you. That's not a part of your reality. Yeah.
So I want you to manage your expectations. I want you to think about the ways in which you expect certain things from your in-laws, right? You expect consideration, right? You expect for them to defer. You expect for them to be sensitive. You expect for them to be respectful in whatever way that looks to you. And what we have to understand is that it does not look the same for everybody. I should be able to come past your house and just show up. I've been showing up over my son's house for the last, he's 40 years. Y'all just got married, you know, last year. Why can't I still just show up at the house? They don't know, right? So we have to manage our expectations, particularly if we have not articulated. We haven't articulated what the new expectations are. And oh, what an odd and awkward place that can be. Oh, so many of us, right, want people to just get information, or we just want to deal with the blow up or the conflict that happens when things get addressed in the moments of confrontation. But we don't want to take the time to just like, let's just have a conversation. Let's set some parameters. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how we can discuss some things and share with you what it is that we need. So manage your expectations. That's number one.
Yeah. Number two, y'all, I think that it's really important that you make your engagement with your in-laws really a team effort. Now, we know we got some in-laws who really be tripping. You know, sometimes you do have some parents who are way too intrusive and way overly involved, and you do need to put a strict and firm boundary down to let them know that, no, you know, you can't come at all hours of the night. You can't come whenever you want to. You can't do this with my children. So it's important in some situations to do that. But one thing that sometimes we as adults fail to do is we fail to find ways to include our parents, not recognizing the fact that they've transitioned to another phase in their life, and these are their grandchildren. And so they want to be included. They want to find ways to be valued, to be important, to play a part in your life. So any way in which you can find a place for them, to include them, to make them feel special is extremely important. So if you make it a team effort, then they'll feel more valued and they'll feel like they're participating in your process. Even though you're leading the process, they're playing a part and participating in it.
So one of the ways that you can do that off the top, first of all, let me just say this. There's going to be things that you should do, that you need to do, that you're not going to want to do. It's going to feel awkward to do. You just want it to be your family. You ain't really feeling it. Okay. But hey, Team Robinson, but at the end of the day, I'm telling you what can work. And what can work is that you consider them. So when you make it a team effort, instead of like, this is what we're doing, you know, you can meet us there if you're interested, whatever. maybe you might consider asking, how would you like to do things? Like, I was thinking about, on this day, maybe the family could do something together. You have any thoughts about how that could go down? Or I know we normally do it this way. Just ask, right? And include them, because oftentimes off the top, they feel excluded anyway, right? They feel excluded anyway. So that is number 2. I want you to get to number 3. And I want you to take this into your spirit. We on, look at that. I want you to get this into your spirit and into your gut. Your in-laws' comments about you, they are not about you. They are a reflection of them. Oh, hey, boo, 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 boo. Your in-laws' comments are not about you. They're a reflection of them. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? Doesn't that make a lot of sense when you really think about it? Like, they already have certain ideas about how things should be, or what have you, or certain, visions about what their child's life is going to be like once they get together with somebody, right? And so we take things so personally, because real talk, we want to be approved of, right? We want things to be okay. We want to be, how many people know about anxiety with mom, mother-in-law, or anxiety, for connecting in with father-in-law. The bottom line is this, though. It's not about you. So if you can just have that in your mind and know that, then it's easier to try to push yourself and then not taking it personal. It's not really about me, right? This is some preconceived notion that they have. And, they may not be aware, and they may be pushing it onto me, but it's not mine. So what I always tell people, when people give you stuff that's not yours, give it back. Just give it back. When I say give it back, that doesn't mean I'm about to go on you. I'm about to let you know. What it means is I don't have to receive and take that on. That's not my issue, right? So the comments that they make, small, little snarky comments, right? Passive aggressive comments, Lord, y'all just pray for me, because I cannot stand passive aggressiveness. I'd rather you just go on ahead and say what you need to say. Do not be passive aggressive. Do not make little comments and, scrunch up your face and all that. That thing gets all right up in here. I got to do a deep breathe, because I will go back to the old Deanna, who is a recovering aggressaholic, and fuss you out. But
fuss you out?
Lord knows, God has been working on me, and I have been working on, some of that stuff, and how that I don't like passive aggressive stuff. So I'm sharing that. You see, I'm just when I think about it, I'm
make you turn red.
I ain't turn a little red. I just, you always one point I want to turn red.
I don't really turn red.
but that thing really gets me. So that's a little sidebar. Do you know what really gets you? I mean, tell me, Yolanda, I feel you. She said passive aggressive is cowardly. I never thought of it that way, but I think that's what I think it is. I might be wrong with it. All y'all passive aggressive people out there, I know some of y'all watching right now, like, oh, for real? That's what you think? But being passive aggressive kind of comes across as being cowardly. I'm not going to say what it is I feel, right? But likewise, being aggressive is cowardly, right? Because you're not standing in a place of being assertive, right? And just asking for what you need. At the end of the day, I can't stand passive aggressiveness. And the bottom line is this: you need to know what your thing is. Yeah. And it would not surprise me if whatever your thing is, mine is passive aggressiveness, right? Whatever your thing is, if you're not just your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, but your partner, they got that thing. They got that thing, because they're there to help you grow in it. They're there to challenge you in it. They don't even know they're on divine assignment to help you heal that thing inside of you. So, at the end of the day, that's just what it is. Now, I want to just pause for a minute. Let me tell you something. I know there's a few people who are watching right now, and you all talked about wanting to get in on this live stream. I need you to request to be a part of the live stream so that we can fold you into this. We can get you into it, because I know I did not, we've done some following back up and forth outside of this, but I just want to give you that prompt. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, we want to make sure that we are at the end of the day recognizing what's ours and what's not ours, and giving it back. Give it back. You got to be disciplined. Sometimes it's easier for some of us to do that, and others of us, we struggle because we just want to hold on to that thing. Yeah. And so just consider it a challenging thing in a good way, that's supposed to be happening.
Yeah. And the next one, y'all, number 4 is to respect differences. And before I even go into this piece right here, let me just say that if you gotten any value thus far, please share, because I know other people can benefit from this information that we're given. But number 4, respect differences. We lift this up because, again, your way ain't the only way. Now, I know in your house, is your way, but the reality is that there's other ways and other perspectives
Right.
that you can actually learn from. And so you can derive value from other people's points of view. But if you feel like you know everything, like you're so omniscient that you can't benefit from somebody else's experience, then you could possibly be blocking a blessing. So make sure that you respect differences and know that there's value outside of you, outside of the way that you think. There's value in what your in-laws bring. There's value in what your family brings. And if you respect the difference and not try to superimpose your stuff onto other people, and then likewise, vice versa, they shouldn't be doing the same thing. They shouldn't be superimposing their stuff onto you and not respecting your difference. That's when you establish a clear boundary and you make it known that this is where I stand, that's where you stand. But at the same time, too, we can still stand in two different places and respect the fact that what you got is valuable, but what I have is valuable too. So again, respect the differences and the uniqueness that each of you all bring.
Yes. So this next one is really good. I don't know what number this is. I don't know, but I'm gonna
number 5. Boo.
This is number. Oh, you try number 5.
Yeah.
Keep track. Okay, I want to see really quick what Robert is saying. Okay, Robert saying, my father-in-law came to my house and installed locks on the doors for her daughter and son. For her daughter, maybe his daughter and son.
Yeah.
I ended up escorting the son out of the house a few months later. I'm pretty much past the point of no return. So I don't know all the context. You might have written a comment earlier that gives us a little more context. But what I will say is that at the end of the day, you got to be in communication. So I don't know if that was a violation or what. You got to give me a little bit more context there, Robert. And you may have, and I may just have missed it. So here's the next one, guys. Setting emotional boundaries and enlisting your partner's help. Setting emotional boundaries and enlisting your partner's help. That's this next one, number 5. So what does that mean to set an emotional boundary? What does that mean? So naturally, we want to please our in-laws or our partner's family, right? We want to be good with them. We envision, that family. Yeah, who watched Soul Food back in the day? Y'all remember Soul Food? Anybody watch Soul Food and Big Mama's House? And they had, everybody was really well joined together. They had issues, no doubt, right? Yeah. But they were definitely connected in, right? And so we want to have that kind of relationship. So oftentimes, without even realizing it, we give up our boundaries and our comfort zone, and we bend over backwards and, break our backs and everything else just to make other folks feel comfortable and feel good. And whatever we think will make everything nice and just great. We want our partner to be happy with us. And so you have to set emotional boundaries. That means that sometimes, what you did initially starts to change because you just can't sustain it. You can't have them come over for the holidays and, make all the food by yourself, right? And get everything ready in the house and plan the whole agenda for the whole time they're here and keep up with the kids, right? And you can't do all of that. And meanwhile, your boo is sitting on the couch like, can I get a plate, babe? Can I get a plate? What? What you mean, right? This is not something that we can really underestimate. You have to set boundaries because what's happening is you're trying to, give up yourself to meet an expectation that you don't even really have the ability to meet. Because at the end of the day, all you can do is be the best of who you are, not run yourself ragged. Because you know what? If you were in, shameless plug here, The Art of Overcoming with Iana Ma'ad here on Facebook for sisters, if you were there, you would know that you teach other people how to treat you. And so you are teaching your in-laws how to treat you when you do whatever, however, whenever, wherever. You gotta have boundaries, and it's okay to do that. And the second part of that was enlist your partner's help. That means that, I need some support. Whoever the partner is, like if it's your parent, you need to be the one taking the lead.
You got to take the lead.
You take the lead. If he has to have a conversation and it's his parents involved, I'm not going to take the lead. And I've known his parents for 20 plus years, right? I have a good relationship, but at the end of the day, I'm not taking that lead because that's his parents. But then he has to enlist my support. Like, you know what, going to have this conversation, no matter how grown you get, you still your parents' son or daughter or whatever, right? This is kind of hard. I need your help. What does that look like? What does that mean? I just need to talk to you about it. I want to process some things. Can we just once I put this out here, if mom or dad says this to you, whatever, this is kind of what I want your response to be. I need your support. So be willing to talk about how difficult it may feel and it may be. Mm-hmm. And you can only have that level of communication if there is safety in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because if I feel like I'm going to get criticized, right? Or, somebody going to look at me like you can't say that. I mean, you're supposed to be a grown man. Really? Oh, you need help with that? Like if you, and sometimes we don't have to say it. You know what I mean? We just kind of give energy. It's like, okay. Mm-hmm. Right. So whatever the case may be, we have to be in a place where we feel it's safe to get support. Safe. All right. So Devontae, you said that your mom is very unreasonable when it comes to your woman. Mother of two. I don't know what to do to fix it. Well, let me just tell you this, Devontae. Well, actually, what you want? We just basically said it. You got to be the one to take the lead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. At every point, as a man experiences the process of maturation, there should come a point.
Do this when you say that. And the man experiences the process of maturation. I swear my husband should have a cigar and some glasses. Well, you got glasses, real sophisticated like.
You arrive at a space where you become a man, not just to people outside your family, but you become a man to your mother and your father as well. And so it's important that you own that space, that you recognize that this is your woman, this is your wife, this is your family, and you take ownership, not in a possessive type way, but more so you just maintain your dominion when it comes to your household, and you make sure that your external, your immediate family, they honor that, they respect that, and so you got to lay down the law. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure that they know, he or she knows that. Again, this is your house and you got your rules that you've established. And I'm not saying that you come off in a disrespectful or minimizing or diminishing type way, but you establish that this is my woman and the way that it's going to be is the way that we say and that we determine that it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And then that's what it is, and there's still pushback in that process, but it's really about you unfolding and you becoming the man that you desire to be, and then representing or projecting that out into the world so that other people respect you. Your behavior determines whether or not people outside of your immediate circle will respect you or not. So again, they're paying attention to what it is that you do, what it is that you say. And if you're not showing up in a certain way that demands or commands the respect, then they won't respect you. Again, it's really about how you show up.
How you show up. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the hardest things. Because you know what? I just want to affirm anybody. I'm not affirming the feeling, but I want to affirm and just validate anybody who's like, that sounds real good. But really what I want to do is just like go in my room and close the door when they come over. I just want to go in my room and close the door. I don't want to deal with nobody. I don't want to have no hard, truthful conversations. I don't want to do none of that. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't want to do any of that. So that's real. Somebody said that they have a mother-in-law with mental health issues. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to seek help. She has my fiance all out of whack, extra stress. And he has to finish his degree that he's working on. Any suggestions? I mean,
we spoke about it earlier in terms of managing expectations. I mean, really, everybody has a right to self-determination. Mm-hmm. And so if your mother-in-law does not want to seek help, I mean, you can encourage, right? You can lovingly push. But the reality is that it's really her decision. Right. And to some degree, at a certain point in time, you may need to take your hands off. Your husband may need to take his hands off and allow your mom to live the life that she's chosen, his mom to live the life that she's chosen to live, because you've given all of the support that you can give. It's a difficult thing to do, but you got to be extremely careful because there's that possibility that you can enter into a codependent relationship if you find yourself all enmeshed and overly taking care of somebody else while you neglect yourself. Yes. And so again, you got to be extremely careful with that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, while we're speaking about this family piece, I do want to lift up something that's extremely significant, especially during this time of year. When it comes to dealing with families, there's this, especially in the African-American community, we got this whole secrecy thing, this secrecy phenomena that plagues us and really paralyzes us in terms of our own internal or personal growth. And so we got to make sure that we do something with that thing, get rid of it, and start to come out and speak up, especially when people are experiencing traumatic experiences around sexual abuse, around physical abuse, around emotional abuse. And I'm going to lift up some things right here because I want some people who are on this live stream. Again, if you feel like anybody can get value from this, please share. because I think that other people outside of this can definitely learn from this information. But when it comes to our family members, y'all, I want y'all to really hear this. We oftentimes hear and we think that it's somebody in the back alley, it's somebody around the corner, it's somebody in the bushes, it's somebody under the car about to pop out that's going to commit an act of sexual abuse or sexual violence towards your family member. The reality is that, y'all, when it comes to sexual violence against family members, what ends up it's normally it's normally 90% of children who experience this thing, y'all, experience it based off of them knowing somebody. It's somebody that they actually know. 90% of people who experience sexual violence is by somebody who they actually know, y'all.
And so oftentimes a family member.
And it's oftentimes a family member. So it's only 10% of people who are like lurking in the bushes and in the woods. 90% of the people who experience sexual trauma as a child, sexual abuse as a child, they experienced it at the hands of somebody that they know. And so, again, there's somebody on this live stream right now who you might not necessarily vouch, but I know there's somebody on this live stream
you know what we're talking about,
who has experienced this right here. And again, a part of the problem that plagues our community is that everybody is walking around in secrecy and shame and not necessarily speaking up and speaking out. Our babies are being hurt, y'all. We're turning our eyes, we're putting our heads down, we're closing the door, we're refusing to look at the reality of what's going on. And it's not just, it's actually better than what it used to be. We have a tendency to romanticize relationships and the way black male female dynamics were in the past. But the reality is that it's better today. Back then, we just ain't talk about it as much.
Right.
You know, so people was experiencing that thing back in the day. And again, it's something that's detrimental to the elevation of us as a people. So I'm lifting that up, you know, not to be a Debbie Downer or a David Downer or whatever you want to call it. But, you know, I just want to make sure that you all are being aware that.
You said a David Downer?
Yeah, because I ain't want to say the Debbie Downer because I'm a dude, you know, that type of thing. But I'm lifting that up because we're going to be spending time with our families during the holiday. And so you need to be mindful.
And I also want to say this. So many of you all who are adults have also experienced things in the past. And I want to give you permission, not that I need to give it to you, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, in case you have not given it to yourself. At any point in time, on any day, at any hour, during anything you are dealing with, you can make a decision to set a boundary if someone has violated you in any way, sexually, emotionally, physically abused you at any point in time in your background, your upbringing, but yet you have to keep coming together because everybody expects you to come together and see this person at the you know, at Christmas dinner, right? Or go out and you don't have to do that. And you don't need my permission. You don't need anybody's permission. But this is what we're talking about. All of this family stuff, right? We can set boundaries. We can speak truths. We can just say, no, thank you. It is okay. You have to be willing to stand in your truth and just know that you don't have to do anything for anybody. You hear me? You have to take care of yourself. And for those of us out there who have children, let me tell you what you cannot do. You cannot give anyone else what you do not give yourself. And so if you're not willing to protect yourself, to protect your emotions, to guard and cover yourself, how can you cover your children? How can you make sure they're okay emotionally and physically and everything else? If you will turn your head on yourself, then you'll turn your head when your children are hurting. Not because you don't love them, not because you don't just adore them, but because you have not learned how to lean into yourself. So that's just kind of like that was like a little sad, like,
we just had to throw that thing out there, like a public service announcement.
Yeah, because people are going through this stuff, especially during the holidays.
Yeah, they're going to see the person that they were abused by. They're going to see the person that they were molested by. You know, it might be your father, it might be your uncle, it might be your mother, it might be your aunt, your brother, your cousin, whatever it may be. But we just want to empower you and let you know that you're not dealing with this thing, number one, alone. And number two, because you're not dealing with this thing in isolation, I want to encourage you and give you the strength and the power to speak up and speak out because other people need to hear your story. And again, I want you to make sure you're protecting your children because we got some people that's lurking. And unfortunately, it's coming from a space of sickness. One profound thing that I heard before is that, you know, especially with everything that's going on right now in terms of men, that's coming out in popular culture and the media and that type of thing, you know, men, this whole sexual assault piece. If the woman can walk into a room butterball naked, she can walk into the room with a thong. She could walk into the room with her breast out. She can walk into the room dancing, and making it clap and do all that type of stuff.
But you said making it clap?
Making it clap and all that type of stuff.
Let me tell you before you get to the line. And so many people say, I mean, but she kind of, when she asking for it, right? Come on, like, I'm not saying that she deserved it. I'm just saying, like, what did you have on and what kind of energy did you have? And, you know what I'm saying? How you going to get all the way naked and then try to say stop? Like, you know, like all that kind of stuff. But go ahead.
But if it ain't no pedophile in the room, if it's not a molester in the room,
if it's not an abuser,
if it's not an abuser in the room, she's not going to get abused.
She's not going to get raped.
She's not going to get raped. You know, again, it's not the woman who's doing that. It's the person who's perpetrating the action that's doing it. It's the person who's making a decision to act on their lower self. They're the ones who are engaging in the action. So they could decide otherwise. It's not the woman's fault. It's the dude who is making the decision. And we can flip the script because some women are also taking advantage of men. It's the perpetrator's decision to take that action. It's not the person who's showing up in their space or in their state of sickness looking for attention. They're not the ones who are the criminal. They're not the ones who are the ones that's causing the issue. They're the victim. So I want to put that in this appropriate perspective.
Yeah. All right, so y'all ain't know we was going there. Y'all still with us? You still with us? Hey, RJ from high school. Y'all still with us? If you still with us, let us know. Let us know you still with us. Can we get some hearts or something? Y'all ain't tap out on us. It didn't get too uncomfortable. We talking about abuse and rape and everything. It's all good because we grown folks. And if we're not willing to talk about it, we cannot be there and ready to defend against it, right? So we got to get into the flow and be willing to do that. We got to be willing to go there. Be willing to go there and look at the
hearts
truth.
Over there
all right, I appreciate it. We just want to make sure y'all's with us. Like, why y'all talking about that? We thought we were talking about the holidays and in-laws and families. Yes, and that stuff is. I see the sad faces. It's rough and it's real, and we got to be real about it so that we can continue to heal ourselves and our community from it. So I want us to, in these last few minutes, to shift over to talking a little bit about exes. Do y'all know about exes and any divorcees in the house, or you're not together with your child's father or mother, and this holiday stuff kind of can get a little funky because their family be acting crazy and she be acting ridiculous, you know, like anybody know about that? Okay, so first of all, I want to know what kind of issues y'all feeling or dealing with. I want to know what that's all about. So drop a comment and let us know. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about family foolishness, exes, in-laws, you know, friends, all of that kind of stuff that goes down during the holiday season. So go ahead and drop a comment and let us know your thoughts. And if you're watching on my page, we're transitioning from off of my page over to the blackloveandmarriage.com page. So make sure that you go there and follow us at blackloveandmarriage.com on Facebook so that you can be notified going forward when we go live. So here are some tips about dealing with them exes and dealing with children and all that kind of stuff. Now, first and foremost, why would you be still connected to your ex? Right? Why would you be connected to your ex if you have moved on? For the most part, and y'all need to let me know if it's some other stuff, it's because y'all got kids, right? I mean, you will forever be joined because y'all have kids. Yeah. And sometimes we just got to sit in acceptance of that. Sometimes I work with folks and they just mad. I got to deal with him. I got to deal with her. She always trying to manipulate. He always trying to control me, like all kind of stuff, just mad in constant resistance to the reality of your life. If you have children with another person who is not the person you're in relationship with now, then that means you will be forever joined with them.
Some comments saying still in love.
Anything.
Still in love.
Still in love.
But I also saw kids too, you know, which is what you just mentioned.
Okay, so you say some more about that, Nicole. Still in love. I want to know more about that. Are you with somebody new? Like, what's going on? Tell me. Right? Are you? What's up with that?
She might not be speaking about herself.
You may not be speaking about yourself, right? But I'm just saying, what are you thinking of when you say that? Somebody say any tips for dealing with an absent or deadbeat. Let me go down to it because I just got that part. Absent or deadbeat father.
Well, let me go over here to Nicole for a second.
We're coming back to you, Jaleesa.
Yeah, because that's not an unfamiliar reality in the sense that, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody that's new, but you really wanted to be in a relationship with the ex, but they didn't want you, so you find yourself in a new space, still looking back behind you.
They ain't want you.
Yeah, they ain't want you, but you still find yourself in a new space, looking back behind you, wanting to connect with that old person. So, and she mentioned, I believe, second marriage. And so again, depending upon what the connection was like, the intimacy was like, and just the feelings of love were like, it's very possible that people could still be in love with their ex, even though they're in a new relationship.
That's a whole nother live stream for a whole nother day. I was like, but that's something to talk about, right? That is. Hey, Alicia, welcome. So here's the first thing that I want you to be aware of is, and I've already said it, you want to accept the reality. Okay, accept the reality of your life and the fact that you have to be in constant communication, right? And negotiation with your partner. And I'm sorry, not your partner, your ex-partner when you have children. The second thing is remember that the holidays are not all about you, right? And what you want and what you don't want and how he makes you feel and how she gets on your nerves. They're really about, primarily when you have children, it's supposed to be about the kids. It's supposed to be about the kids, right? It doesn't mean that you're just pushed off to the side and you can't get no joy or find any kind of connection or love or whatever during the holiday. But what it does mean is that fundamentally at the end of the day, the bottom line is this: your children come first. And so there are certain things that you could do for your children. For example, like spend a little bit of time with, I know y'all not gonna like this, spend a little time with your ex and the children together. There's a different kind of experience that happens for children when they get to be around both of their parents together.
That's dangerous water right there.
It ain't gotta be dangerous water. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go and do that isolated. If you have a new husband or a new partner, everybody can come. Everybody can do it. But allowing your children to experience the both of you, and for some people in some relationships, there's a certain level of maturity, understanding, a certain level of strategy, whatever.
Sean said,
or I don't know, that was right? Where people are able to kind of step off and do that. But you have to think about your relationship, okay? And so bringing your partner, that may seem like what, but this is for folks who really are trying to step it up and take it to another level. Can you imagine? Just think back to when you was a kid. Now, your parents, I don't know if they were divorced, if they were together, right? Tamika said, no, thank you. Nicole said, flip the script, please.
They're not feeling that one.
Y'all ain't feeling that one. Well, thank you, Tanika. She said it's a great idea when both adults are mature enough to handle that.
Because people do it successfully.
Yeah, I want y'all to
people
know
do it all the time successfully. Yeah.
Yes. And with the other parents on the same page, there are certain qualifiers. You need to communicate with your current partner. Like, where you at with that? You know, because again, making sure that you're focused on the goal. The goal is the experience of your children. Why y'all just gonna keep hitting me, Nicole? Like, no. No, that's not happening. Cherish some. And so I just want to suggest to you that the more you open your mind up to possibilities of doing something like that. I'm not saying you're going to spend the whole holiday. I'm not saying y'all going to wake up on Christmas together in the house. What I'm saying is that you are going to say, you know what? We can go to the such and such play all together. You can all sit in the seats and be at the play.
That could be problematic though, y'all, because I mean, it could be.
You're supposed to be standing in solidarity, bro. That is a point that we're supposed to be living up. How you gonna go against the point?
I'm just saying that. I'm just thinking to myself that it could be misleading for the children because again, depending upon how old the children are, there's certain expectations that they have and certain beliefs, and they romanticize possibly even a relationship, and there's hopes that it could be rekindled. And so I think the maturity is a prerequisite in order for it to take place. But again, even in it taking place, there may be some drawbacks to it occurring because the children are looking forward to it becoming something maybe even more. The exes may be looking forward to become something more.
This is true.
But, you know, like I said, the prerequisite is that there be a certain level of maturity. And I like the whole piece about including your new partner in the equation.
The goal again, y'all, this is really about you know your ex, okay? And you know yourself.
Some of them got different motives.
You know, I already told y'all I'm a professional petty person. I'm petty. So if I was ever in that situation, which I will never be, okay. But if I was ever in that situation, I probably would not be a good candidate because I'm petty and I'm not mature enough. So I'm going to tell you that about myself. But what I do know from working with couples and from looking at the studies, that people do it, and the children do benefit. And then you do have to take into consideration all of the things that my husband brought up in terms of, mixed messaging and that kind of thing, making sure that the kids understand what's happening, right? But fundamentally, when you're at a certain level where you can do that, what happens a lot of times is children take away from divorce all kinds of messages about why it happened. And you find out years later, or you never find out, or they're sitting in a therapy session when they 45 talk about always kind of felt like it was my fault. Right. I felt like, like there was a lot of stress, and there was and it had to do with, us, having so many kids in our family or whatever. And my mother just couldn't handle it. And my father and her used to fight. And somehow they make it about themselves. That is what children do. They make it about themselves. And what I'm telling you is that when you do something like this, that it enables them to see in a very real way the level of commitment you have to them and to their experience. Okay. And so again, yes, Keely, Team Petty. I'm petty. Okay. So I'm not really, I'm like, I ain't trying to address that. I know I could do better, but I'm not trying to be that evolved. But I'm still obligated to tell y'all that that's what the studies say. That's what the studies say. It works, right? For people who have the maturity, right? But Nicole, as you said, no baby mama drama. If it's going to be drama, then, you don't necessarily want to go there. So here's the other thing, y'all. Set up a plan for what you're going to do in the holidays when it comes to your kids and stuff. Set up a plan in advance. How many of y'all, when y'all was thinking about the holidays, how many of y'all already know what your kids are going to do? For those of you who have exes or, whatever, co-parenting with a partner who you're no longer with, how many of y'all knew? How many of y'all waited or, until the last minute, or maybe not the last minute, but until like November or whatever, and started talking about it, and there was some confusion and some contention and that kind of thing, right? And you're trying to figure that stuff out. It's already stressful, right? It's already stressful. So start planning ahead. That's important. The other piece that I just want to throw in there really quickly is that it's about establishing traditions. I really, 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 it's a big deal to me, traditions. And I mean, I'm kind of sort of working on that thing. Like, I ain't great at traditions, but I think I do all right. You know what I'm saying? I try to do some things. We try to do our little, what's some things we do? Vision boards. Try to do our vision boards coming into the new year. Every year we get materials for all of our children to do it so they can vision what they want for the next year. We can do the same thing. Try to make cookies on Christmas Eve. Try to decorate the tree together. Go out and get the tree together, right? Sit down and have conversations, cook together for Thanksgiving. What's the point of what I'm saying? The point is this, and this goes back to also if you wanted to get with your partner or your ex-partner and come together with your children, you can develop a new tradition because now they have something to hold on to. Traditions give people continuity. Traditions means I don't feel disconnected. It makes me feel connected into my family. It makes me feel connected into something bigger than myself. Can you imagine if you ain't have the level of connection that you have now? How many people out there right now feel lonely? How many people know what that's like, are dealing with that even now? If you don't have that and you don't create those things for yourself, right, then that's what you do end up with, loneliness. And lots of people struggle with loneliness during the holiday time.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people do. And so what I want to say is that even after the Christmas holiday, you also have Kwanzaa to look forward to.
How many of y'all do anything with Kwanzaa? It's just something you see on TV. And you be like, yeah.
And so,
and that's it. Let me know. Drop a comment.
So, annually, we're doing Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Jama, Nia Kumba, and Imani. We're practicing the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. What?
Pinot Grigio. Go ahead. Sorry.
Really?
Just go ahead, sir. So I got a question, Nicole. Go ahead.
Oh, so we're practicing the principles of Kwanzaa, whether it be in the community, whether it be in our home. And so that right there would also give you an opportunity to put some traditions in place that not only honor you as an individual, but also your place in the community and your family's place as well. So again, making sure that you incorporate these traditions is imperative. My wife, she just mentioned a moment ago that a good number of people are lonely, y'all. A good number of people are struggling with really low feelings, low thoughts, and really feeling isolated and even depressed during this time of year. It's the number of people who have lost people during this time of year. It's people who have lost people today. There may be somebody on this live stream that's even struggling with that right now. I will hope that you're not on the live stream, but you may be on here
It's all
because you
right
need
if they
some.
are.
Yeah, you're right. Because you need some help. You need some
Just
support. You need some love.
a
Only
sneak.
reason I'm
Oh,
saying
he's
that,
going
no,
on a
I'm not
program.
really going on. I'm just saying that,
You
you know,
was.
I would probably, I would be more internal. You know, in the sense that I wouldn't be necessarily on here right now. But that's no judgment for somebody who may have lost somebody. Um, Again, y'all take care of yourself. You know, be kind to yourself during this time period. This right here is rough. This time period is rough. Time of the year is rough. And a lot of people are struggling. And so if you know somebody who's going through something right now, what I encourage you to do is to reach out to them, to extend yourself. And
Wait, don't do nothing on this one. Go on up.
No.
I don't get out, not on the YouTube. Sorry, y'all. Do it on there. So I want to say this. Okay, you're doing something. You're pulling something up. I want to say this really quickly. Jaleesa, you said this year I planned just as I have for the past 3 years, and my son's father and his family are still non-responsive. I like all of your points, but I guess they will not work for me and him, seeing that we have a 3-year-old and we're 25 and 27. Okay, so I hear what you're saying. Like that joint, like that sound good, but if you ain't responding and I'm trying to make some moves or whatever and be proactive, then it's not going to really work. So it's not that it's not working for you. Remember this, you're not responsible for other people's responses. You're not responsible for how they flow with you, whether or not they get with what you. So everything we done said tonight about in-laws, exes, even your partner, right? Fiancés and all, you are not responsible for the outcome. You're not responsible for the outcome. Okay? You're responsible for making sure you do your part. Now that's rough because of course we want a certain outcome. We would like for our in-laws to like act right. Can you act right and just respond nicely and let's have a good, but they may not. We would like for our ex to, kind of get information so it cannot be awkward for us with our current partner, whoever, right? We would like all that stuff. At the end of the day, the only thing that you need to be doing is making sure that you are articulating and communicating clearly. Don't go ghost. Don't not communicate. They text you, you don't respond. Y'all, don't play games. Some of us do that. We are intelligent enough and savvy enough and, intellectual enough and fancy enough to know that we shouldn't do that. But we just get in our feelings. And if you like me, we get petty. I'm petty. Okay. And I know that. And then I have to pull myself out of that and be like, yo, like, let me do what I'm supposed to do. Let me say what I'm supposed to say. And remember that once I've done that, I always tell myself I've done my part. I've done my part. I'm not responsible for how people respond to me. I'm responsible for myself. So think about it that way, Jaleesa. If you're doing the part that you can do and you're showing up a certain way, that's what you have to do. Yeah. That's all you have to do. And then once you drop that out there, whatever is going to come and whatever is going to be is going to be. That's why you can't waste time trying to control your ex in terms of their relationship with your child, trying to keep them from your child, trying to make them, don't forget their birthday and, trying to make them spend time. That's not your job. It's painful and it hurts, particularly when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but it's not your job. That's your child's relationship with that person, that parent. It's not your job. So I want to say, based on what you said, you've planned and you've communicated, you're doing pretty good, right? That's all you can do. And that's what we're talking about tonight, being responsible for ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. We do have to be responsible for ourselves. I was going somewhere a second ago.
Let me push enter.
Yeah, and I'm actually posting it in the comments right now. I was going somewhere because, again, y'all, people are struggling during this time of year. And I posted in the thread here, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And I'm not doing this because I just want to do it to give you all the information.
Not people to be a David Downer.
Yeah, no, people have reached out to us. And so there may be some people on this live stream right here who are really in need of support because, again, they've lost a loved one during this time of the year. They may feel lonely during this time of the year. And so if y'all could just do us a favor right now and just really send a bunch of hearts. Really send a bunch of hearts because these hearts, I want the people to feel the love who are on here, who are really struggling right now. If y'all could just go ahead and tap the heart button so that people who may be struggling with issues in their relationship, people who may be struggling with issues as it pertains to, their loved ones, people who may be even thinking about or contemplating suicide, that that ain't the decision that they want to make, y'all. You know, it's a lot of people in this group right here who love the fact that you're on here, and we want to keep you on here. So again, thank y'all for showing up and showing them love, because again, people, they need that, y'all.
And just be mindful of that, y'all. People be struggling. People be struggling, and it's okay to struggle. The best way to deal with that is to connect. Connecting with like-minded people, connecting with people that you trust, connecting here on Facebook. Use social media in a good way. At the end of the day, it really is about how you handle the difficulties that come your way. You cannot control other people. You can manage your expectations. You can show up the way that you would want somebody to show up with you. And you can then detach from the outcome, because you know fundamentally, it's not my job. It's not my job to figure out what they're going to do. I've done my part, and that's all. That's all. That's all. That's all. All right, guys, this has been good this evening. I want you all, as you all are logging off this evening, if there's any issue that comes up, I saw somebody say, please do something around blended families. So yeah. I saw that. If there are any other ideas that you all have or topics that you all have, drop them for us. 2018 is going to be fabulous because we're going to connect with you all in a very specific kind of way. We want you all to, we want to know y'all. Like, I want to sit across from the table from y'all. I'm like, what's going on, girl? So I wonder what's happening. So we are setting up some things so that we can do that wherever you are around the country, that we can get more closely connected in. And so be on the lookout for that. I am so grateful for you all. I'm grateful for this call to talk about real stuff. Tamika, I'm looking forward to 2018 too, sis. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So when we get off, y'all, please share this again, because if you found value in this, I'm sure that other people, they will find value as well. So please share this video to your friends, to your family, on your timeline, et cetera, because we want this message to spread. And, you know, we want to make sure that we're healing people as we do the work that we do.
Again, blackloveandmarriage.com is the place to see us every Thursday night at 9-ish. 9-ish. Yeah. Okay, CPT time. And we're transitioning from my page. So in 2018, you will no longer see us on my personal page, but you will see us on blackloveandmarriage.com on Facebook. Happy holidays, everybody. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Next week?
We don't know yet.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. That's how it be. I don't know. We ain't playing that far. All right, y'all. Bye.
All right, y'all. Peace. Hey, YouTube, we're going to drop the link for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline for y'all, too. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, what's up, Gary? Merry Christmas to you, too.
Hi, Gary.